Welcome to our workshop titled TBH or Truth About Homosexuality. I'm Michael Magpantay, and just to give you a bit of a background, I'm part of Courage Philippines, the Roman Catholic apostolate for people with same-sex attraction and those who care for them. I've been a member since 2016 and I'm currently the chapter head under the Diocese of Parañaque chapter. Before I joined Courage, I was very active in the gay lifestyle. I have went through what most of our brothers and sisters who have SSA experience in terms of exploring our lives with our attraction. And this includes identifying ideals which we can consider as true. So, for this workshop, let's discuss some things pertaining to homosexuality and try to bring light to it. Let's start with the phrase, born this way. Is this something we inherit? Is this something genetic? When I was younger, I believed this to be true, that I was born this way. As far as I can remember, I already had these attractions, let's say around 6 to 7 years old. Now let's see what we can clear from this. Even though we say, as far as I can remember, there are some experiences or memories that has subconsciously affected us, and some of them we may have completely forgotten. Plus, there could be a lot of things that could have happened even before we were aware of our conscious memories. But let's get more into that later. So, what does science have to say with this? An article during 2019 dismissing gay gene was released. One of the many references is time.com. In the article, it says, after studying nearly 500,000 people with varying sexual experiences, the researchers found no evidence of a single gay gene. There are some genetic association with some self-reported same-sex sexual behavior, but environmental factors likely play an even larger role, the study said. Lead study author Andrea Gana, a geneticist in the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard in Cambridge, Massachusetts, said, quote, same-sex sexual behavior is very polygenic, meaning there are a lot of variables that contribute to this trait, and this is very similar to many other behavioral traits, unquote. If that's the case, how come there's still same-sex attraction? Where does it come from? With my experience in Courage, I have found out the truth that there were root causes on how these attractions came to be. We have identified common causes despite the unique experiences of each individual. The common causes are issues of the parents with the same sex, abuse, negative labeling, and generational sin. Knowing that we have these issues, meaning we have woundedness coming from these issues. And once we have wounds, wounds need to be healed. Now that we have addressed this, it's important to acknowledge the past experiences and the backstories of our brothers and sisters who have SSA, so we can be part of their healing journey. Let me share with you a bit of my experience. When I was active in the gay lifestyle, I believed that fulfilling my desires based on my attraction is the way to live. That in one way, it would make me feel complete, that I would have a sense of being whole. But you know what? No matter how much I indulge myself in seeking pleasures with others, I knew deep inside me that there was always this void that I could not be able to fill. Having that experience, I became restless. If living based on my attraction was not enough, then what is? During this period of distress and confusion, a part of me wanted to go for confession. I don't know why, I just do. So, one Saturday evening, I pulled myself to go out of the church, find a priest, and ask confession after his mass, not even caring if it would bother him. Thankfully, it didn't. Little did I know that this priest would be changing my life. As I was confessing my activities as a person living with same-sex attraction, I was dumbfounded by his calm demeanor. Not even a slight sense of being judgmental. This was both surprising and refreshing. This priest eventually led me to find courage. As I journeyed with courage, I reconnected on how I should view myself. I always thought that my attraction is who I was, that everything I say, think, or do should be associated with my attraction. I had been reminded that our attraction is not who we are. You're generous not because of your attraction. You're generous because you are generous. And you're kind not because of your attraction. You're kind because you are kind. And so many things more. If I wanted to see myself again as whole, I needed to accept that my identity is the beloved child of God. In my journey with this group, I was able to identify the past experiences that led me to this attraction. When I thought I knew my issues, I would be surprised. Something would unravel, something new. Knowing where I was wounded helped me where I should be starting to heal. In this group, it helped me to build chaste friendships who shared the same experiences, making me feel like I'm not going through this alone. I also befriended priests I never thought I would do, and that's actually a big thing. This group helped me in my healing through mercy and compassion. It has now been shown to me that the void that I was trying to fill could only be filled by God's love. And this love includes the love given by the church. Which brings us to another misconception: the relationship of the Catholic Church and the people with same-sex attraction. Isn't the Catholic Church hostile towards people with SSA? I have been Catholic my whole life. And I always wondered on how the church would treat me once they knew of my attractions. I have seen hostility from different religious sects, and this includes from different various forms of media. I can see their hostility, the usual. They throw down Bible verses at you, some coming from Leviticus. Some of them give total condemnation, and some of them makes you feel like you're not deserving of love, not until you change. But what about the Catholic Church? How did they actually see us? A letter to the bishops for the pastoral care of homosexual persons from the Congregations of the Doctrine of Faith in 1986 says, "The human person, made in the image and likeness of God, cannot be adequately described by a reductionist reference based on his or her sexual orientation." Today, the Church provides a badly needed context for the care of the human person when she refuses to consider the person heterosexual or homosexual, and insists that every person has a fundamental identity, and this is being a creature of God, and by grace, His child and heir to eternal life. From this, we can see how the Church sees us. They have always seen us beyond our attractions. That among many things, they first see us as God's beloved child and deserving of salvation. Now that we know how the Catholic Church sees us, how do they actually help us in our journey to Christ? Before I actually started doing the program of courage, I was actually scared that they're gonna make me straight. In some field, this is known as conversion therapy. In some, reparative therapy. Back then, I had my guards up, anxious of what process I have to go through. But you know what? My assumptions were not even visible in any form or matter. I didn't even experience it. They were not trying to fix us. We were not seen as broken in the first place. But they do understand that we need to be healed from our wounds coming from our past experiences. They never gave us the direction to change our attraction. Instead, we were directed to live a life of chastity. From the Catechism of the Catholic Church, 2359, homosexual persons are called to chastity by the virtues of self-mastery that leads them to inner freedom, at times by support of disinterested friendship, prayer, and sacramental grace, they should and gradually resolutely approach Christian perfection. But why a life of chastity? From the Catechism 2337, chastity means the successful integration of sexuality within the person and thus the inner unity of man and his bodily and spiritual being. Sexuality in which a man's belong to the bodily and biological world is expressed becomes personal and truly human when it is integrated into the relationship of one person to another, in the complete lifelong mutual gift of a man and woman. The virtue of chastity, therefore, involves the integrity of the person and the integrality of the gift. In here, we may understand that whatever we do to our bodies, we do to the integrity of the soul. And the integrity of our soul is actually what we can present to God as our gift. Pope Francis, in his writing, Amoris Laetitia, encourages families of those persons with same-sex attraction given respectful pastoral guidance so that those who manifest a homosexual experience or orientation can receive the assistance they need to understand and fully carry out God's will in their lives. With the many things said, we can conclude that the Church is actually like a mother who lovingly sees every person, including those with people with same-sex attraction. Just to keep it real, I would like to acknowledge that not every person with SSA experienced a perfect encounter when they tried out to reach the Church. Mine included. I had my fair shares of not so good experience when I first tried to approach the Church. But thankfully, I was persistent enough, and that gave me the fruit of the true love that the Church bears. At that moment, I had come to realize that there are a lot of people within the Church has yet to realize the truth about homosexuality and how the Church should be approaching them. So, I encourage to those people who are watching right now, knowing the things that we have discussed, to help people understand what we have learned just right now, that there are many ways for us to approach our brothers and sisters with SSA, and one of them is love. To cap it off, let's do a quick recap. First, same-sex attraction has root causes. This would help us understand, to know where they're coming from, and to better help them coming from their experiences. Second, there is healing through mercy and compassion. Third, the Church as a mother truly cares and loves people with same-sex attraction. Now knowing the things we have discussed, I invite everyone to extend our understanding of what we have learned right now. I know this has been short, but if you have further questions, clarifications, or comments regarding the matter, you may reach us to our Facebook page, Courage Philippines. Thank you for taking your time to listen. God bless.
Hi friends, were you inspired by this workshop? We hope it doesn't end here. We would like to encourage you to bring Live Pure to where you are, in your schools, in your parishes, in your dioceses, in your institutions. Bring the cause of Live Pure. Invite us to give talks to you. Invite us to give you the Live Pure recollection. You know what? This is how love culture will spread. God wants to use you, and may you allow God to use you so that love culture will really be love culture.